What is up? We are back again, and finally, the PSA return is back. So if you've watched any of my earlier videos back in like December or November, maybe? I think it was November. I don't know. It's been a long time. It's past the 45 days that PSA says or whatever when you pay for or buy your grading service. But anyways, finally, we have the cards back that you guys voted on. So there should be, I haven't opened this box yet, there should be 6 cards in here. 3 of which you guys voted on in the vote video. 1 of which is a dog card that I said in the one video when I opened all those dog cards that if anybody commented, I would send it to get graded. My wife was the only one that commented, so her dog is the one that was sent to get graded. So that's 4. And then there was 2 that I sent that were mysteries of my own that I wanted to personally get graded. That would be a surprise for you guys today when I got the reveal back. So there should be 6 cards in here, I hope. If not, there's a problem. But I haven't opened this yet, so I have no idea. Hopefully there is the 6 in here. So we will see. This is a fully blind. I have no idea. I didn't look online. To be honest, I didn't even know these were coming today when the FedEx man showed up at my house. I had no idea that these were out for delivery or whatever. Let me make sure we have the back side. Okay. There's only 5 here apparently, so unfortunately I guess there will only be 5. The 6th one must be shipping by itself because technically it was a separate order. So the 6th one and the one that was a surprise that you guys didn't know about, or one of the ones that was a surprise you didn't know about, is an extremely old card. And PSA separates their, I think it's 1980 is the year. So 1980 and newer. So basically anything I've opened on the channel that I would have sent to get graded is considered one of the modern sports cards. Anything pre-1980 is a vintage sports card. So you have to do 2 separate orders. So I did the 2 separate orders and then I sent them off together in the same shipping container and everything because you can do all that and blah, blah, blah. But apparently PSA separates them and doesn't keep them together then after the fact. So the 6th card will be revealed at a different time, but we do have the first 5. So we're going to start with the dog because it's kind of the least exciting, but the dog was King. This is the one that my wife voted on from the dog video. This is the 2024 Topps Allen and Ginter King. The stars / show Westminster dogs. So without further ado, let's pop this open. Bam. It is a Gem Mint 10. Look at that. King on the Gem Mint 10. That's right. So solid card. Super excited for this one. Mainly I think it's really cool because my wife was the only one that voted, like I said. So to get a Gem Mint 10 on this is really cool. It's kind of a memory for me and her. It'll go in my little display case of all of the stuff that reminds me of her and or me and her together. So really cool there and a great way to start this PSA submission. To be honest with you, I felt like my first PSA submission was a little bit lucky. So I didn't really expect too much out of this because I knew you're not always going to get lucky when it comes to PSA, but great way to start right there with the King. So let's get into the ones that you guys voted for now. So the first one was the 2011 JJ Watt Gold rookie card there. Sorry that the angle is kind of weird because I'm covering the grade, but this is a PSA. This is a Topps Gold JJ Watt. This is the gold version, so it's limited to 2011. The golds are usually limited to the year. So like 2024, the golds were limited to 2024. Because of this being from 2011, this is limited to 2011. This is number 179 of the 2011. So this is the J.J. Watt rookie card. This is really cool. I didn't even know I had this. Like, I bought this in 2011 when I was collecting cards, and like I just found this in there, and you guys thought it would be cool to get graded. So without further ado, let's see what the gold got here. Bam. Looks like what? An 8. A near mint 8. So I feel like it's probably because of the corners. From what I can tell, it looks like some of the corners have a little bit of whitening on it. You're not really going to be able to pick it up in the camera, but you can maybe kind of a little bit see it there, how that's a little bit whiter instead of that crisp gold color. That, I feel like that corner you can really see it on, how there's that white speck at the top of the corner. So that would be why this one got brought down, but still an 8, cool to see. If I tried to sell this, I probably wouldn't make my money back on what I paid to get it graded. What I paid for the card was practically nothing because I got it out of a pack. So I only have, the cost of grading into it. I don't plan on selling it. I do want to keep all of these cards because you guys voted for them, and it'll be kind of a memory for that. But anyways, let's move on. The next 2 that you guys chose of the 3, so you chose the 1 football from J.J. Watt, and you chose 2 Pokemon cards. So the next one we're going to talk about is the Charizard here. So this is the 2016 Pokemon XY Full Art Mega Charizard EX from Evolutions. Evolutions was the set where they kind of went back to the original 151. And they did a lot of that kind of original artwork, and then they still had the full arts and exclusives and that jazz in there. So this is another one that I pulled from a pack back when this was coming out, so in that 2016 time frame. But let's see what we got on the Charizard. A 10 would be solid, but I doubt it. Boom! Gem Mint 10. Let's go. Let's go. I would think this has got to be like at least an $150 card, I would think. I would think in the 10. I could be wrong, but full arts are hard to get graded, in my opinion, with the texture and everything on them. So to get a 10 is super, super cool. Really excited about that. Really, really awesome. If you saw my Charizard like mega collector box opening where it came with the statue, I talked about how I wanted to get some graded Charizards to display kind of with that statue, and this one in a 10 is huge. Super, super cool. Love to see that guy in the 10. So awesome to see there. We got 2 cards left here, one of which is a Pokemon and one is the surprise one that I sent off myself. But this is the Meowth. This is the 1999 Pokemon Jungle. This is the gold border fruit roll-up promo Meowth. So super, super hard to grade. I can't imagine this would get a 10 because it came in a fruit roll-up box that got jumbled around and thrown around so much getting to the shelf to then be purchased and handled and touched and messed with since 1999. So I would doubt this is a 10, but I do want to chase down getting every Meowth card that I can and getting them graded. So even if this is not a 10, it is a excellent addition to my Meowth collection. I already have the one that I graded, or no, I did not grade it. I got it as a gift for my wedding so that would be the first one. But here is the second one, and it is an 8. Not super surprised with the 8. The biggest thing, again, just like with the J.J. Watt, that gold border is super hard to keep crisp and clean. Even when they cut the cards at the factory, it gets nicked, and that gold shininess, like you can see it right there, how there's that white nick or white, mark on the bottom of it. With it being gold, it shows up super, super easy. So it's not like even, like I saw it in a second just flipping the card back over. And I knew that before I sent this off, it had the whitening on the corners, but I still wanted to get it graded with it being the Meowth card and everything. So if I was trying to make money off of this stuff, I would have never sent this card. But I knew you guys voted for it, A, and B, I knew that I wanted to have it graded, and to buy a Gem Mint 10 copy is a pretty pricey expenditure if I remember correctly. But yeah, those gold borders are extremely hard to get graded just because the foil like on the card is hard to deal with, and the what am I trying to say? It gets nicked super easy. That's what I'm trying to say. Heavens, Betsy. The next one here is a soccer card. This is one of the surprise ones I sent. So this is Alejandro Garnacho. He plays for Manchester. Manchester. He plays for Man U, Manchester United. So he's a soccer player that I like. There's one specific reason I sent this, though, and I will explain that when we see the grade, because I'm curious to see what it is. But this is a 2023-24 Topps Merlin Alejandro Garnacho Refractor. Let's see what the grade is, and then I'll explain why I sent this one. So, this is an Excellent Mint 6. Now, that's unfortunate, because that's not what I was hoping for. I knew it wasn't a 10, but I was hoping for something different. Now, if you see right there at the top, see how thick that border is at the top there, where his head is? And then that border down there by his feet. See how there's such a drastic difference? This card is extremely off-center. So, essentially, his head should be closer to the top of the card, and that red line should be closer to the top of the card as well, which makes it a little more even with the bottom here. So essentially, the whole inner red square should be shifted upwards on the card. And I don't know if you'll be able to catch it in the camera, but if you see right there, the whole back of the card is supposed to be black, and then the bottom is that white color, where you can see here where the card was cut. Whatever the card above this was on the printing paper is cut into this card. So this white border on the bottom of the Alejandro card, this white line is the bottom white border from whatever the card was on the piece of printing paper above this card, if that makes sense. Hopefully that made sense to everyone there. But so this card is extremely off center. Now, I don't know if I just submitted this wrong, and that's why it just got the 6, but PSA does have a grading qualification where it'll say OC. So essentially, this could have got like a 9 OC, meaning the card is a mint 9, like super, super good condition card, but it's off-center is what the OC means. So that's what I was hoping to see here, was like an 8 OC or a 9 OC or whatever. I don't know if you have to do something special when you submit cards to get that OC grading, or if they just give you like a grade of the card if you don't say you want the OC marking or whatever. So it's interesting that this got a 6, because I mean, maybe there's some issues with the corners and whatnot. Like, it's an off-center card, so like I'm sure the quality control wasn't great when it comes to creating this card, but I was really hoping to get that OC grading, just because I've only sent, this is like my 10th card that I've sent, so I've never sent that many, but I wanted to get one of those OCs in my collection just as a speaking piece. But I am still happy that I graded this. I know it got a 6, but I can't think, or I don't know of a time that I've pulled another card that was this blatantly off center. I know there's some that are crazy where like half the card is one player and half the card is another, and people have pulled those. And you can get some really wild things when it comes to off-center cards or cards being cut incorrectly. So this isn't super crazy as to what you can find out there in the world, but me pulling this myself I thought was really cool, especially when you can see the bottom of the card above it on the cut sheet is pretty cool. So that's why I sent this to get graded. That's why I kept this as a kind of a surprise too, because I was hoping to get that OC grading, just to be able to talk about it and whatnot. But there we go. There is the 5 cards that I submitted right there. We have the new card, or the 6th card, I should say. I filmed the first part, and then the very next day, before I could finish getting the video uploaded and everything, the sixth card came. So I figured I would just film this and piece it in there. So that's why I look different, or I'm wearing different clothes, whatever. I don't remember what I wore on that. So, but yes, here is the sixth card. So this is the final card from that submission that I did back in like November, I want to say it was. So will finish off this PSA submission for me. I'm just opening the box here, so I will show you, or I will reveal the grade as a surprise to me as well. Now, I did mention it a little bit in the video before, or the part before that I filmed, that PSA has you send it in as 2 different orders based on the year the card was released. So I believe the year cutoff is 1980. So 1980 to now are like modern cards. So basically everything that you saw me go through the other day were considered modern cards, and that is one order through PSA. Anything pre 1980 is a vintage card, and you have to make a totally separate order through PSA. Now, you can send them together in the same box, and they get there at the same time and all that kind of stuff, but they do take different times to go through the process. So the modern cards that I already showed you, those went through a day quicker, I guess, technically, than the vintage cards. I don't know if that's because more people are grading vintage cards at this point in time, or I don't know what the deal is, but the modern cards moved a little quicker, and when they finished, they shipped them out immediately rather than waiting for the vintage card to also finish. So I don't know. I don't know why they did that. They could have saved me, them, everybody on shipping costs, but it is what it is. So this card is pre-1980, and you will see what it is here in a second when I reveal it, but this is a vintage card, like I said, pre-1980, according to the vintage definition, I guess, from PSA. But, all right, so without further ado, this is a 1961 Topps Roger Maris card from when he won the MVP. So this is like the MVP special card or whatever that came out in the 1961 Topps set. Now, this card was nowhere near in perfect condition. So this is not a 10. It was never going to be a 10. I knew it was not a 10 when I sent it. I just sent it because I love Roger Maris. I love his story. The 61 movie was excellent, I thought, that told his story. Super, super underrated Yankee, in my opinion. He also did play for the Indians or the Cleveland, the Guardians team, whatever you want to call them, for a small period of time. So a lot of things that I do really like about Roger Maris. So let's get into the grade, and I can explain maybe a little bit more about why I like Roger Maris. But so there's that. The grade is a very good 3. So not terrible. I mean, it's a card from 1961. It's older than me, older than my parents, and it's a very flimsy piece of cardboard. Definitely not the quality of cards that are made today when it comes to durability. So I don't mind that it got a 3. That wasn't the point for me. Like I said, anytime I can get a Roger Maris card, I will get it graded for sure. He is one of my favorite baseball players of all time. If you don't know the story about Roger Maris, he is the baseball player that broke Babe Ruth's single-season home run record. So in 1961, he hit 61 home runs and broke Babe Ruth's home run record. However, the season that Babe Ruth did it in was, I believe, 8 games less than the 1961 season. So they didn't count it because he did it. He hit the 61st home run in those extra 8 games. So I believe he tied it. So he had 60 home runs in the same number of games that Babe Ruth played, but he didn't break the record until the extra 8 games that he played to hit the 61st home run. So they had an asterisk next to it in the record book for many, many years. It was sometime in the early 2000s, I believe, that they finally gave him the official record. He had already passed on at that point, so he didn't even see that he was the official record holder. But he did break Babe Ruth's record. And there's no question to me that he broke the record. When Babe Ruth broke the record with 60, from whoever had it before Babe Ruth played like 32 more games in the season compared to when that guy had his home run. So it was basically just a schmaz because Roger Maris was not the star player. Mickey Mantle was the star player on that Yankees team, and that was the one they wanted to break the record. However, he did not. He got injured. He had his own issues. So Roger Maris ended up breaking the record. But since it wasn't Mickey Mantle, their stud, they didn't want Babe Ruth to lose the record because he was such a big stud for the Yankees. So the politic game kind of won there, and that's why he had the asterisk next to his name for many, many years, until he did get his name as the sole record holder. Like I said, in the early 2000s at some point. I don't think he had it for very long because I believe Mark McGwire then broke it shortly after that. But he was the sole holder of that record for at least a small piece of time. So, but anyways, that's the story on Roger Maris. Like I said, one of my favorite baseball players of all time. One of the coolest stories in baseball, I think, of all time. Great movie if you haven't seen 61. If you're a baseball fan in any capacity, I would recommend just at least watching it. It's a cool story, but this is the 1961 Topps MVP card. So this came out, if I'm not mistaken, this came out in 1961 while he was setting the record. So basically, I believe he was MVP in 1960, and then in 61 was when the MVP card came out. So this card came out kind of concurrently with him doing, or breaking the record, I should say, in the 1961 season. I believe. I don't officially know exactly when this came out. I didn't do that in-depth of research. I just know it's the 1961 Topps MVP card. There is a 1961 like base Roger Maris card with the different artwork and stuff. That was just like the base Topps card. So that's another one that's out there. Like I said, I hope to get more Roger Maris cards, and just kind of fill out that collection because, like I said, I love his story. I love to learn about him and stuff like that. But super cool to have this card. I don't know if I noticed this before I sent it. I'm sure I did and just didn't think about it, but it is pretty off-center too. So you can kind of see how quality was back then as well. So kind of interesting there, and then, the corners are not the sharpest and things like that. I'm sure that there's some color wear or like yellowing of the coloring. So like I would think the borders are supposed to be a little whiter. Like when it originally came out, it would have been whiter. So that's probably why. There's also a pretty good crease right across like his arms right in here. That also would have knocked the grade down. But like I said, the grade to me was never what I was going for. This is a card that will for sure never leave my collection. Like I said, anytime I can get any Roger Maris card, I will take it and get it graded for sure, just to add that to my collection. But anyways, I talked a long time about one card, so I'm gonna get out of here. If I don't know exactly where I'll clip this into the other video, so disregard anything in the other video if you hear me talking about not getting this card yet. But anyways, I will see you in the next one. 3 of which you guys voted for, and I would say you guys did extremely well when it comes to that Charizard. Super exciting to see that Gem Mint 10 there. Definitely a cool card and would be profitable for me if I did decide to sell it, because again, I pulled this from a pack, so I basically have nothing in the card itself. But with that, out of these 5 cards, we have 2 8s, 2 10s, and a 6 on that off-center Garnacho. But still, like I said, really excited to have all of these cards in the collection. And I will get that, whenever I get that 6th one in, I'll either make a short, like a quick short video, or I'll just kind of tag it on to like another card opening video or something that we do just to show you guys real quick. But other than that, this has been my fan voted PSA reveal. So these were all the cards that you guys voted for. If you want to see something like this again, we can definitely do that. Because of PSA being so far behind and this taking so long to get back, I'm hesitant to send anything else to PSA right now, just because it's expensive and I don't like waiting so long for something. I do have some stuff that I definitely want to get graded, and I will in the future, but I don't know if it's something I'm going to do super quick, unless it's something you guys really, really like to see and want to see more of. But other than that, I'm going to head on out of here. I will catch you guys in the next one.